Here is why so many business coaching and CEO advisory offers fail, and why so many people who have a lot of wisdom to share give up. If this is you, I'm going to explain why you are fighting not with one arm, but actually two arms tied behind your back. We'll look at all the reasons why selling business coaching and CEO mentoring is really, really hard. But most importantly, I'm going to give you a roadmap that I call the Trojan horse strategy so that you can actually sell business coaching and CEO mentoring services. So make sure you stick around until the end. My name is Michael Bohannes, and together with my wife, Anna, we help solopreneurs and small consulting firms build client acquisition systems. And some of the clients who came to us told us, I had such a successful career, I now want to become the CEO whisperer and pass on my experience. Or they say, I had a business and I sold it successfully, I want to become a startup mentor. And if this is you, you have all the right in the world to want that. I'm in favor of all of that. The problem is that you have 6 major obstacles that are preventing you from doing that. Maybe there's more, but 6 that I came up with. Number 1 is the fact that very often coaching and advisory are often byproducts of existing relationships. For example, you want to coach startup CEOs, but their company has a company board. And there, let's say that a senior board member also acts as an informal mentor to the CEO. Or the CEO has a trusted supplier who he became friends with over time, and now he has a sort of mentoring relationship with. So we see that mentoring relationships develop informally, which means that not only do you have all your proper competitors to deal with, you also have all of this kind of informal competition from professional contacts, friends, and family, who, by the way, operate completely in the dark. Obstacle number 2, coaching services are very personal, much more so than consulting or agency or any other B2B kind of offer. There needs to be a lot of trust established for the CEO to let you into their inner sanctum. Just like romantic relationships, mentoring relationships very often develop organically, and they cannot be conjured up using the standard supplier-client frame. Obstacle number 3, you don't know a lot about coaching and how to actually teach and impart your experience. There are executive coaches out there who do this stuff for a living, and they know your target audience and their pain points much more than you do. They may not have your real-world experience and success, but they are very good at distilling other people's experience and success, often people that they worked with directly. Even if you had been the best operator in your field, that does not necessarily make you a great coach or advisor. Not every great performer knows how to translate their experience into teachable lessons. And that lack of specific how-to expertise in teaching and coaching means that you have one less leg to stand on as you are competing for clients. Obstacle number 4, your level of comfort. Starting any business is hard, and the vast majority of people who start a business are hungry. They need this to work. They have a family to feed. Many of them are staying up evenings and weekends to figure out how to survive. And that's who you are competing with. Are you equally hungry? With your successful track record and probably money saved up enough for retirement, will you be putting in the same amount of work that they will do? And will you outcompete them? Your level of comfort is actually a competitive disadvantage. Obstacle number 5. In this particular category, coaching, you are facing a massive PR problem. No matter if you call yourself the business sounding board, the CEO whisperer, or any other fancy title, your target audience will be putting you into the same box with all the other needy coaching riffraff that is roaming the internet. And if you declare yourself a coach, mentor, advisor, 80% of the target audience who doesn't know you are rolling their eyes. Worst thing of all, the more accomplished they are, and therefore the better clients they would make, the more they are rolling their eyes further back into their heads. Obstacle number 6, and this is the real big one. The requirements on your past success are huge. Let's say that what you've accomplished was that you were the CEO of a 1,000-person company, which is in itself a massive achievement. But that doesn't guarantee you an easy way into coaching at all. So there's a spectrum, right? And on the bottom end of the spectrum, there's a lot of people who would be incredibly impressed by your achievement and would love to work with you, but they will not be able to afford you. And on the other side of the spectrum, of those people who could afford you, they will possibly not be as impressed by that achievement because they have already a strong network with people who are similar to you in it. And so the sliver between these two brackets is really narrow. So those are the 6 obstacles that you're facing. If you think there's more, please subscribe to this channel and leave a comment below. Don't hit the notification bell. I don't want you to get distracted. Just subscribe and that's enough. If you have made it, if you are the CEO whisperer, despite all of those obstacles, then big kudos to you. If you haven't, here's what I recommend that you do. And I'm basing this on about a dozen clients that we worked with with who fit that description and on other people who are not clients who I've seen achieve success with this method. You cannot do it directly. You cannot be a business sounding board, a CEO whisperer, a business coach, and sell this directly to your target audience. I recommend that you get your foot in the door with a more standard pedestrian meat and potatoes kind of service that your target client is normally buying. And that's why I call it the Trojan horse strategy. You sell one thing, but you end up delivering another. Let me give you a perfect example. One of our clients sells a very specific management system to VC-funded tech companies. But when I asked him what his actual service delivery looks like, he said most of it ends up being coaching the CEO. The system he helps them install is pretty simple. The value lies in his expertise on how to get things done in a fast-moving VC-funded tech company. And that often requires coaching the CEO and other senior team members. For example, one part of his management system is all about how to run weekly meetings. But as soon as the CEO learns about the framework, he will start asking questions about the details. And before you know it, they start discussing questions of confidence, authority, and leadership. And so that is his Trojan horse. His management system is the Trojan horse that gets him pulled inside the city walls. And once he's inside, he unleashes the warriors of coaching. So now you may ask, what's going to be my Trojan horse? Here's how you can choose it. Look at what you were doing particularly well in your past career. Where did you stand out the most? For example, if you always exceeded sales quota, well, sell sales training. Or you were extremely popular and beloved by your team and you have some frameworks around that. Perfect opportunity to sell company culture consulting. Or you were an Al Dunlap style, very ruthless executor who left, scorched earth in your wake, but at least you got amazing results and increased company's profitability. Well, then sell this kind of consulting. Take anything from your successful track record and turn it into a unique value proposition and sell that as a consultant, as an agency, or as a fractional CXO, just not as a coach. Don't sell coaching services. You will have a much easier way in. And as you work with the client, you will end up doing more and more coaching in reality. And if you play your cards well, at some point, they will start hiring you exclusively for the coaching and they'll be happy, they will recommend you, and word will spread about you. And then one day, you will not have to do any consulting anymore and you can focus on coaching exclusively. And this roundabout approach really eliminates all of those 6 obstacles. Number 1, coaching is a byproduct. Well, you now sold your coaching as a byproduct of your previous consulting. So you're taking this obstacle and turning it into a competitive advantage. Coaching requiring a high level of trust, you have just now gained the trust via a much more easily sellable service. Your lack of coaching skills, well, that won't really matter because you will already be a known entity to them and your brand of coaching will actually have been approved by them. They got value from your coaching, so you don't need to have any formal coaching certification or anything like that. Number 4, the high level of comfort. You will actually not be very comfortable in the early stages as you're selling a consulting offer, right? It takes quite a lot. So you will not be able to do this if you continue being comfortable. Number 5, the PR problem. You have not sold them any coaching, so they will not be putting you in the box with all of the coaching bottom feeders out there. And number 6, the high requirements on your success. Again, it won't be an issue because your coaching relationship will by that point already be established and you will not be requiring any big credentials. Now, this kind of roundabout strategy, this approach of selling a Trojan horse consulting service, it won't sell itself. So unless you already have a network to get clients from, you will need to learn marketing, prospecting, and sales. But at least this is a far more reliable recipe than the alternative. And the alternative is what I've seen recently in a pretty melancholy and sad LinkedIn post from somebody who I respect a lot. And he said something to the tune of, since nobody wants to buy my coaching advisory services, I am considering retirement, which made me really sad because this person has a lot of wisdom to impart. So to avoid the situation, use the Trojan horse strategy and turn those 6 obstacles into your allies.